right? So in today's class, I will start with convection. So you should know already you have come across convection, governing law for convection, right? So what is convection? Convection is a mode of heat transfer that takes place between the solid surface and the fluid. And here in convection, the fluid will have bulk motion. There is a bulk motion of fluid flowing over the entire surface. Okay, then heat will be transferred from the surface to the fluid or vice versa, that is from the fluid to the surface. That depends on the temperature. Okay, whichever temperature is higher. Okay, suppose if the surface temperature of the solid surface is higher, means heat will be transferred from that solid surface to the surrounding fluid, or if the temperature of the fluid surrounding that surface is having higher value, then the heat will be transferred from that fluid to the surface. So you know that heat always transfers from higher temperature to lower temperature, right? Now in convection there are two types. One is forced convection, another one is free convection. See, in forced convection, we are going to use external devices like fan, pump or blower, so that you can increase the velocity of the fluid flowing over the surface, right? So if you increase the velocity of the fluid, then what it means, you are going to increase the heat transfer, because the more fluid will be flown across the surface, then more heat will be absorbed by that flowing fluid, and heat transfer is more in case of forced convection. Whereas in free convection, okay, the the bulk motion of the fluid takes place due to the density difference caused by temperature, right? So for example, let us take a hot iron block which is hung, okay, which is hung, uh, and which is hung in a room, okay. Andre hung antandre, if you just keep it in the air, that hot block, right, then the fluid surrounding that block, hot block, will come in contact with that hot block, and the temperature of the air is going to increase. Okay, so when the temperature of that air increases, the density will come down. Okay, that when the density comes down, okay, the hot will try to move upwards. Again, the cold fluid will come in contact with that hot block. That air also absorbs heat from that hot block, and its density is going to decrease. You know, the whenever the density is decreases, it will start raising upwards. Okay, the fluid starts raising upwards. In this way, the natural convection takes place. Understood, no? Forced convection and free convection. Hmm? So in the forced convection, we are going to use external devices so that we can increase the velocity of the fluid. Thereby, you can increase the heat transfer. Whereas in free convection, that the bulk motion of the fluid will takes place due to the density difference. Okay, you know, when the fluid comes in contact with that hot block or hot surface, the fluid is going to get heated up, then its density is going to decrease. So when the density decreases, the fluid will start raising upwards, and the cold fluid, okay, which is having higher density, okay, that will come in contact with that hot surface. Next, physical mechanism of forced convection. Say first we will start with forced convection, then we'll go to the natural convection, right? Let us consider a hot block over which the fluid is flowing, and as the velocity is increased, okay, more quantity of fluid will flow across this hot surface, and more heat will be transferred to that fluid. So this velocity is quantified in terms of a dimensionless number known as Reynolds number, which is given by velocity or rho into rho stands for density, u stands for velocity into x. Here x stands for characteristic dimension divided by the dynamic viscosity. Understood? So rho v ಇಲ್ಲಿ v ಬದಲು u ಇದೆ. Rho stands for density, u stands for velocity, and x stands for characteristic dimension, and last term the mu stands for dynamic viscosity. So you know the units also. Rho is the density, its unit is kg per meter cube. U is the velocity, meter per second, and x here stands for characteristic dimension. Okay, this will depend on the geometry whichever you are using. If you are using a flat plate, okay, then characteristic dimension will be the length of that flat plate. If you are using a circular pipe, then diameter d represents the characteristic dimension, right? Sometimes this characteristic dimension, okay, will not be a circular, or it may not be just length we have to take. Sometimes it may be a non-circular passage, then we have to go for equivalent diameter. Okay, that I will come across what is equivalent diameter. Now mu is the dynamic viscosity, its unit is kg per meter second. Okay, and I told you equivalent diameter we are going to use whenever for a non-circular passage. If it is a flat plate, then the characteristic dimension will be the length of the flat plate. If it is a circular pipe, okay, then diameter will be the characteristic dimension. If it is a non-circular passage, then we are going to use equivalent diameter, which is given by 4 times cross-section area by the perimeter. Okay, suppose if you take a rectangular cross-section having breadth A and height B, now you know equivalent diameter is given by 4 times cross-section area by the perimeter. See, what is the cross-section area? If it is a rectangular cross-section, the cross-section area is, okay, breadth into height. Okay, sometimes we'll tell length into breadth. Okay, here we have taken breadth into height, AB. Okay, that is one side dimension will represents length of A, another side dimension is of length B, then 4 times, okay, length of A into length of B divided by perimeter. Means what? Perimeter means ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಪೆರಿಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ. ಈಗ ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗುಲರ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ ಏನಿದೆ? ಓಕೆ, a ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ. ಓಕೆ, a ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ 2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್. ನೋ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ, okay, wait 1 second, I will write. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗುಲರ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಲೆಂತ್ ಎ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೆಂತ್ ಬಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ 2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಪ್ಪ? ಓಕೆ, ಪೆರಿಮೀಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ. Okay, if you just simplify, it will become 2a times b divided by a plus b. Now, if you want to find what is the equivalent diameter found by the annulus of the outer diameter and inner diameter. Suppose there are concentric pipes. Concentric pipes ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಂಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಪೈಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಆನ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪು ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪು ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ನ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ದ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಬಿ d2, ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಇಸ್ d1. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆನ್ಯುಲಸ್, then it is given by 4 times. Okay, cross section area of that annulus is, okay, outer diameter the cross section area minus inner diameter cross section area. Correct? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಂಟ್ ಬರೆದು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ನನಗೆ. Okay, wait 1 second. I'll just check pause. Okay. ಇದೊಂದು ಸರ್ ಇದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅನೋಟೇಷನ್?
ಸರ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಎರಡು ಈಗ ಇದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಪೈಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪು. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು D2, ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪ್ದು ಡಯಾಮೀಟರು D1. ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಆನ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಗಿರೀಶ್ HP. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆನ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ನಾವು ಇದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸ್ಕೆಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆನ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಔಟರ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಔಟರ್ pipe, and also know the inner diameter of the inner pipe. Okay, then you can find the equivalent diameter. Okay, so outer pipe to cross section area minus inner pipe to cross section area divided by pi. Okay, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಪೆರಿಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸುತ್ತಳತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? pi d. ಓಕೆ, pi d1 plus pi d2 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Okay, if you just simplify this, ಇಲ್ಲಿ d2 square minus d1 square ಇದೆ, a square minus b square, it will be d2 plus d1 into d2 minus d1. So d2 plus d1 is also equal to d1 plus d2. That numerator and denominator gets cancels. What is remaining? ಇಲ್ಲಿ pi ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ, 4 ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. d2 minus d1 will be the equivalent diameter. Okay, if you are taking annulus. ರೈಟ್, ಸೊ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೇನಪ್ಪ? ಓಕೆ, ಗುರುಪ್ರಸಾದ್
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಆಡಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್.
ಆಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೌ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಎ heat exchanger. Okay, heat exchanger ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? Okay, in the heat exchanger is a device where heat will be transferred from hot fluid to cold fluid. ಒಂದು ಪೈಪಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಈಗ ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, there will be two pipes. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪು. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಪೈಪ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ತರ ಎರಡು ಪೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪು. ರೈಟ್, suppose if the hot fluid is flowing in the inner pipe and the cold fluid is flowing in the annulus of the inner pipe and the outer pipe. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? annulus ಅಂದ್ರೆ the space between the inner pipe and the outer pipe is the annular space. Okay, ಇದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಇದೆ, in that pipe, inside pipe hot fluid is flowing, whereas in the annular space the cold fluid will be flowing. So heat will be transferred from the hot fluid which is flowing in the inner pipe to the inner pipe, the solid surface, solid ಸುತ್ತ ಇರುವಂತ ಪೈಪ್ಗೆ heat transfer ಆಗಿ from that pipe. Okay, from the that is from the surface of the inner pipe, heat will be transferred to the cold fluid which is flowing in the annular space. ಅವಾಗ the equivalent diameter is given by so 4 times. Okay, we have to take ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಔಟರ್ ಪೈಪ್ದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಪೈಪ್ದು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ heat will be transferred from the inner pipe surface. That is why we have taken only pi times d1. Okay, so it is only just pi times d1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? If you just simplify this, okay, you are going to get d2 square minus d1 square by d1. Okay, this is how you are going to find the equivalent diameter. Now this Reynolds number, no, if you take a circular cross section, if you just take only circular flow through a pipe, okay, then the Reynolds number below 2300, the flow is said to be laminar. Whereas above 4000, the flow will be turbulent flow anta karitivi. Laminar flow, turbulent flow, you already have come across in fluid mechanics. What do you mean by laminar flow? So laminar flow means the fluid will be flowing, okay, the fluid layer will be parallel. If you just check the fluid layers, okay, the fluid layer will be flowing in a parallel direction, whereas in turbulent flow, okay, the chunks of fluids will be moving in a haphazard manner. That is turbulent flow. There is no the fluid layers will not be parallel, it will be flowing in a haphazard manner. That means you cannot find the direction of that fluid exactly. So that is a turbulent flow. So if you take flow through pipe, for a Reynolds number of 2000 or below the 2300, the flow is said to be laminar, and if it is above 4000, the flow is said to be turbulent. Okay, in between this value, that is between 2300 and 4000, the flow is a transition region. The flow is said to be a transition region. Now, okay, here I have shown you the hot block. Okay, there is a hot block over which the fluid is flowing at a velocity u, and its temperature is Ta, and this hot block temperature is Ts. Its surface temperature is Ts. Okay, see, when the fluid flows over this hot block, okay, the fluid, okay, just above this hot surface will have its velocity 0. This is important. The fluid which is just flowing above this hot surface will have its velocity 0, or we can say that fluid layer will be having 0 velocity, or it will be a stationary one. Which fluid? The fluid just above this surface of this block, and we say such condition as no slip condition. No slip condition anta karitivi. Yake anta andre aa fluid layer yavado which is just above the surface of this hot block, the fluid layer will adhere to this surface. And adhere anta andre it will be attached to that surface. One layer of the fluid will be attached to this surface, okay, and as a result its velocity will be 0, or we can say that fluid layer is stationary, and this condition is known as no slip condition. No slip condition, right? Now if you take next adjacent layer, okay, andre iga one fluid layer adu no slip condition ide, andre that fluid is attached to that surface, whereas if you take next fluid, okay, it will have some velocity, but that velocity is less. It will be less. And if you take next adjacent layer to this fluid layer, its velocity is increased slightly, okay, and the velocity will increase, okay, the velocity will increase in the vertical direction till that velocity reaches the free stream velocity. What is the free stream velocity of that fluid? It is u. It is actually u. Well, okay, I will explain you once again. when the fluid flow takes place over this hot block, one layer of the fluid which is just above the surface of this hot block will adhere to that surface. Okay, adhere antandre that fluid layer is going to attach to that surface that will have zero velocity. That fluid which is just above the surface of that hot block will have zero velocity. That condition is known as no slip condition. And next layer of fluid which is above the first layer will have velocity, okay, but it will have some velocity, but that velocity is less. And next layer of fluid will have slightly higher velocity compared to the below layer fluid velocity, and this velocity is going to increase. I have shown this velocity is having a parabolic, you can see this velocity is somewhat parabolic in shape, and in the vertical direction, okay, that fluid velocity is zero at the surface and it slowly increases. Okay, this is due to the viscosity effect. This is due to the viscosity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Viscosity means it is a resistance offered by one layer of fluid to the another adjacent layer. You already have come across in fluid mechanics. So that is why, okay, there will be a frictional force between one layer of fluid to the another layer of fluid. That is why this velocity gradient will be there, okay, up to some distance that I will tell you in detail in the next block. Okay, so this velocity gradients andre no, the velocity is zero at the surface of the block and the velocity is going to increase, okay, slowly till it reaches the free stream velocity. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು velocity gradients ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Now, okay, if you take temperature, okay, the temperature of that fluid which is attached to that surface will have Ts. It will have Ts, okay, and that velocity, the temperature of that fluid is going to decrease, okay, as you move in the vertical upward direction. Okay, as you move in the vertical upward direction, the temperature of that fluid is going to decrease till it reaches the ambient temperature, Ta. ಈ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ದು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಯು ಇದೆ, ಆಂಬಿಯಂಟ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಟಿ ಎ ಇದೆ, and the fluid is flowing over this surface. Okay, the first layer of fluid which is attached to the surface will have same temperature of as that of the surface, whereas the next adjacent layer, the temperature will be slightly reduced compared to the first layer, and again next layer will have slightly reduced compared to the below layer. Like this, the temperature gradients also will be there, and the temperature is going to decrease till it reaches the ambient temperature. Okay, next, I told you the fluid which is attached, which is adhered to the surface of that hot block will have zero velocity, or also known as no slip condition. See, in that fluid, that is the first layer of fluid, the heat transfer is by pure conduction only. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, heat transfer by conduction can take place in solids, liquids as well as in gas, or I can say in solids and fluids. Fluid is nothing but liquid and gas. For this stationary fluid layer, that is the first layer of the fluid which is adhered to the surface, the heat flux is given by Fourier's law. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, heat transfer by conduction is given by Fourier's law. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು? ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, which is attached, okay, the first layer of fluid will be adhered to the surface. adhered ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಝೀರೋ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ is actually not moving. Only the fluid above that surface, okay, above that first layer will have velocity, whereas the first layer of the fluid will have zero velocity, and if it is a zero velocity is zero idaga, there is no bulk motion of the first layer. So it is the heat transfer to that first layer of fluid is by conduction, and for conduction the heat transfer is governed by Fourier's law, which is given by heat or heat flux. Heat flux andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ? What do you mean by heat flux? It is nothing but heat transfer by area, correct? No, heat flux is nothing but Q by A. This is nothing but heat flux, Q, small q. Okay, so this should have been actually capital Q is equal to minus K into A. Area irbekiತ್ತು, area has been taken to the left hand side, then it is actually capital Q by, this is nothing but capital Q divided by area. Capital Q divided by area is nothing but heat flux, small q, which is equal to minus Kf into dt by dy. See here, Q conduction is equal to Kf represents thermal conductivity of the fluid. Why it is fluid? Because heat transfer to the first layer of fluid, we are considering only first layer of fluid which is adhered to the surface. The thermal conductivity of that fluid we have to take. So it is Kf. Kf represents thermal conductivity of the fluid, and dt by dy represents temperature gradient at y equal to 0. At y equal to 0 at the surface. So you have got one equation, correct? No? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Okay, next one. ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸು, it will be having bulk motion. Now heat transfer is governed by what? Which law? Newton's law of cooling alva. Newton's law of cooling is the governing law for heat transfer by convection. So according to this law, Q convection is equal to H into Ts minus Ta, where H represents convective heat transfer coefficient and Ts minus Ta is a temperature difference between the hot surface and the flowing fluid. Okay, here you have come across H. Okay, it is given by watt per meter square Celsius ಅಥವಾ watt per meter square Kelvin ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. That is a unit for heat transfer coefficient. And I already have told you, again I am going to tell you, heat transfer coefficient, even though it's looks to be simple, this equation, the heat transfer coefficient depends on so many factors. It depends on fluid properties like density, viscosity, thermal conductivity, specific ಇವೆಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಮೇಲೂ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲೋ, that is a laminar flow, turbulent flow, ಆಮೇಲೆ geometry, whether it's a circular shape, rectangular shape, or any flat surface or some non-circular passage. Also it depends on the smoothness of the surface, and as well as orientation, whether it's a horizontal, vertical, or some inclination. So the value of H is not a easy phenomena. Actually what we are taking, this H is the average heat transfer coefficient. This heat transfer coefficient will vary actually from point to point. We are going to take average heat transfer coefficient, and we can substitute in this equation. Okay, so finding the value of H is not a easy task. Okay, now see, whatever the heat transfer to the first layer of fluid by conduction is equal to heat transfer to the subsequent layers by convection. So this Q conduction, Q is equal to Q convection. You can equate these two equations. That is minus Kf dt by dy at y equal to 0 is also equal to H into Ts minus Ta. Now ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಈ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಎಚ್ ಅಂತ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಚ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ minus kf into dt by dy at y equal to 0 divided by ts minus t. How you got this equation? You equate these two equation on the right hand side ಏನಿದೆ ಅವೆರಡನ್ನು equal ಮಾಡಿ, because whatever heat conducted to the first layer is equal to heat convected to the subsequent layers. So you can equate this right hand side of these two equation. And what is h? What will be h now? That should be equal to minus kf dt by dy at y equal to 0 divided by ts minus ta. Right? So when you want to find the value of h, okay, you have to find the temperature gradient. Then you can find what is the value of h. And this value, I told you, the value of h depends on flow conditions. Okay, it depends on so many factors, so it will vary on the surface from point to point. Okay, that means if you take a flat surface or some length of the plate, okay, that value of h actually vary from one point to another point. Okay, what we will do is we will take average value of the h by, okay, the average value of h by averaging the local value of heat transfer coefficient over the entire surface. Now this heat transfer coefficient is non-dimensionalized using a number known as Nusselt number. Nusselt number is actually given by h into delta by kf. H into delta by kf. Okay, here h stands for heat transfer coefficient and delta is the characteristic dimension. Okay, it depends. Okay, if it is a flow or a flat plate, then we are going to take length of the flat plate. If it is a diameter, we are going to take, if it is a circular cross section, the characteristic dimension will become d. Okay, that depends on the geometry, characteristic dimension. And kf represents here thermal conductivity of the fluid. This is very, very important. Here kf represents thermal conductivity of the fluid. And see, Nusselt number, what is actually h into delta by k? I can write it as h into delta t divided by kf. Okay, here delta ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು denominator ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, kf by delta. Delta t I have added. Okay, h into delta t, delta you take it to the denominator, it will become kf by delta into delta t. So h into delta t, actually what it is like heat transfer by convection ತರ ಇಲ್ವಾ, or heat flux. Okay, area on numerator denominator you can add. Okay, so heat transfer by convection, h into delta t represents heat transfer by convection. Heat transfer by conduction is nothing but k into delta t by thickness or a characteristic dimension. So that represents heat transfer by conduction. So Nusselt number is actually heat transfer by convection divided by heat transfer by conduction, and that is the physical significance of the Nusselt number. Okay, we have done one problem here. Let us try to do this problem. There is a air at 25 degrees Celsius flowing over a flat surface maintained at 65 degrees Celsius. Temperature measured at a location of 0.3 mm from the surface is 45 degrees Celsius. Find out the value of the local heat transfer coefficient. Thermal conductivity of the air at average temperature may be assumed to be 0.027. Okay, so there is a air at 25 degrees Celsius, okay, ambient temperature. Then there is a surface, flat surface having temperature of 65 degrees Celsius, and temperature measured at a location of 0.3 mm from the surface is 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, that is delta t 45 minutes. Find out the value of local heat transfer coefficient. Okay, thermal conductivity of the air also they have given 0.027 watt per meter Celsius. Now what is that they have asked to find the value of local heat transfer coefficient. Okay, what is the heat transfer coefficient at that location, that is 0.3 mm location you have to find. Now, that means you have to find what is the heat transfer coefficient at a location of 0.3 mm from the surface. Okay, from the surface it is at 45 degree. Now surface temperature is 65 degree. Okay, and the thickness, what is that? Okay, location thickness, okay, location is 0.3 mm. In terms of meter, it will be 0.003 meters. Okay, delta T they have done here. Okay, what is delta T here? 45 is the surface. Okay, minus 65, it is minus 20. Thermal conductivity of the fluid also there. Okay, so here H is equal to, you know that H is given by minus Kf into dt by dy divided by Ts minus Ta. So how will you calculate dt by dy? Okay, already dt 45 minus 65 is the temperature difference, that is 45 minus 65 will be minus 20, and distance is 0.3 mm. ಅದನ್ನ ಮೀಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. dt by dy ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Once you got dt by dy kf ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. thermal conductivity of the air ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? 0.027 divided by Ts minus Ta. Okay, surface temperature minus ambient temperature ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ what is the value of H you are going to get? Okay, just ಇದು ನೋಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್